So when Jesus was on the cross, one of the last things he says is, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And for almost my entire life, until about 3 months ago, I was taught that meant that, Jesus was taking on the sin of the world, and because God is perfect and pure, he couldn't be there with Jesus in that moment, and basically he had to turn his back on his own son. That leads to a lot of turmoil when you think about, well, I have sin, and does God turn his back on me because of my sin? But actually, if you look into this, Jesus was actually quoting the 22nd Psalm 22. And so when he said, my God, why have you forsaken me?" It was almost like he was saying, "Sweet Caroline," and everybody went bum, 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 because they knew what he was saying when he said, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Because in verse 1 of chapter 22, it says just that. And then it goes on to say, "Why are you so far from saving me, so far from the words of my groaning? Oh my God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer, by night, and am not silent. Yet you are enthroned as the Holy One, and you are the praise of Israel. In you our fathers put their trust. They trusted, and you delivered them. They cried out to you, and they were saved. And in you they trusted, and were not disappointed. But I am a worm and not a man, scorned by man and despised by the people. All who seek me mock me. They hurl insults, shaking their heads." And skipping to verse 18, it says, "Then they divide my garments among them and cast lots for my clothing." Does this sound familiar? David is literally writing a psalm that prophesies about the crucifixion of Jesus. And then the very next psalm is the most popular one of all time. In Psalm 23, it says, "But the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul, and he guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and staff, they comfort me, and you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows, and surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." And these two psalms are what were going through Jesus' mind as his last words, because I guarantee he didn't just quote the first verse of chapter 22 where it says, my God, why have you forsaken me?" He knew what was about to happen to him. He knew that through this valley of the shadow of death, literal death for him, that he would fear no evil, because God was with him. God had not forsaken him. He did not turn his back on his son because of his sin. He was there the whole time through the valley of the shadow of death, and he was there to prepare a table in the presence of his enemies. So today, as we take communion, whether you're at home or with us here in person, be reminded that in your darkest times, the Lord is with you. He has not forsaken you. He has given you victory over your enemies. And he is there with you in the shadow of death, in the valley of the shadow of death, to bring you peace and to bring you victory over your sin, not to run and hide of it because he's so ashamed of you. God loves you, and he's there for you. Thank you.